after all I've done for you. Have you ever heard that? Have you ever said that? Well, today in the psychology of manipulation, we are going to go over guilt tripping. Yes, guilt tripping. I hope you enjoy this series, and we'll be back momentarily. Greetings and welcome back. Welcome back to my channel. I'm so glad to be with you again. Well, we are going to continue with the psychology of manipulation. And today's video is on guilt tripping. Yes, guilt tripping. Actually, it's the next topic in line. So, for those of you that are just joining, you may want to catch a couple of the first videos, which were gaslighting and love bombing. Again, we looked over gaslighting, and love bombing. Love bombing was actually the last video for those of you who are interested in that. Thought that was very informative, but again, you're very welcome to go review that video. Again, love bombing. So today, guilt tripping. What is guilt tripping? Have you ever been guilt tripped? Or have you been the guilt tripper? Guilt tripping, according to research, is a highly dangerous form of emotional manipulation that causes significant harm by eroding self-worth, causing anxiety, and destroying trust. It works by making people feel unjustly responsible for the manipulator's emotions, leading to long-term emotional damage and the loss of total autonomy. Now, in this series, these are the topics we will be discussing. I'll leave that up for a moment. And thank you to those who have been leaving comments publicly and on my email, which is on my page. For anyone who may feel as though they want to reach out, I have no problems, just as long as you are respectful. Hopefully everyone has had a moment to look over these topics. And my disclaimer, this video series is for educational purposes only and is not a substitute for professional advice, or I am not a member of the medical profession. So hopefully you all understand that. And if you like these videos in this series, please let me know by dropping a like. And if you're new, welcome. I hope you consider subscribing, and of course, your comments are welcome. So without further delay, let us get into guilt tripping. Guilt tripping. This is another tactic in the narcissist arsenal. It can be, not all of the time, but according to research, and I would strongly encourage you to review periodicals and resource materials such as Psychology Today, such wealth of information included in those materials, as I mentioned, can be used as emotional abuse. The key, according to research, says that if it is exclusive, meaning if this is done over and over and over to achieve what have we been talking about these last couple of videos, that control over you, then indeed it should be looked at as a red flag. And also, how do you feel when you say no? Now, many people, I know that I am a people pleaser, and I try to please each and every one, but the dangers in that, at least from my observations and research, oftentimes we lose ourselves into pleasing others. And painful as it may sound, no matter how much we do, how much we think we're pleasing that person, we may not be. So that's something very, very important to look at. Now, when we talk about guilt tripping, I'm trying to think of the best word, but horrible comes to mind, but it's also, at least for me, and has been, almost a feeling of helplessness for many people. And for you that are listening, you can think about it or respond in the comments. Have you ever felt that you were on the other side of the guilt tripper? That horrible pit in your stomach feels like it's doing jumping jacks, or perhaps you're feeling butterflies because you don't know how that person is going to act or respond when you say no. Guilt tripping is indeed a form, according to reports, emotional manipulation. I have that right there. You feel like everything is always your fault. You feel responsible for their emotion. You feel inadequate, and unworthy. You have low levels of self-esteem. You have a nagging sense that you're doing everything, and I mean everything, wrong. This one right here is one that I have thought for years, and just in the last year or so, I have learned to be able to say no and not harbor any guilt. And the last one, you put your needs above yours consistently, meaning everyone else comes first before you. Not once in a while, not sometimes, but all of the time, consistently. Now we're going to listen to a short clip. And if this sounds like you, let me know in the comments.
Yelling or demanding. It's more like a sigh, a pause, a quiet little, well, after everything I've done for you. They don't come right out and say it, but suddenly you feel like you've let them down, like you should have known better, like saying no makes you selfish or cold or ungrateful. That's how guilt tripping works. It's not about what you actually did. It's about making you feel like you failed in some invisible way.
Have you ever felt like that? That if you say no, that you may be looked upon or accused of being selfish because you decided to put your needs first, because you decided to attempt to set boundaries. We all should have boundaries. We are not made. We were not created, in my beliefs and opinions, to be doormats and to be used and manipulated by anyone. And again, manipulation, at the end of the day, and according to reports and research in psychology, especially dark psychology, is indeed considered emotional manipulation. Have you ever encountered, if by saying no, the theatrics that may come along with this? Meaning the tears, perhaps the pouting, the silent treatment, or perhaps they may pull on your heartstrings to get what it is that they want. And underneath all of that is, as I've mentioned before, power and control. That is part of a narcissist's manipulation tactic. And remember, the manipulator, the narcissist, is not gender specific. That's key. Remember, emotional manipulation, power, control. Let's listen to another clip. It's really short.
They make you feel selfish for saying no. The result is you agree just to escape the guilt. Guilt tripping.
They make you feel selfish for saying no, and then you escape so you won't have that feeling over you. Again, I ask the question, how many of you may have experienced that or maybe experiencing that now? I would strongly encourage you, as I have on the last 2 videos, anything that does not feel right, please seek help. There's so many resources out there, but only if you feel as though you are in a safe place. Safety. I cannot stress that. Stress. I am stressing the importance of being safe. We've heard many stories, but the resources out there. Again, I would encourage you to always be safe and to seek the advice and assistance from a medical professional. If you experience or perhaps have experienced these things in the past and you haven't really let them go. A lot of us continue to live with things from the past because we've learned how to navigate, we've learned how to cope. We haven't really quite healed. So again, my suggestion, my encouragement would be to seek professional advice if needed, and if you're in a safe place to do so. Here's another clip.
Its effectiveness comes from exploiting empathy. People naturally want to avoid causing pain to others, so the target may concede simply to relieve the discomfort of being made to feel guilty. Because the guilt is manufactured rather than earned, the manipulator gains compliance without having to negotiate or justify their request. Over time, repeated guilt-tripping conditions the target to anticipate blame and alter their behavior. Its effectiveness comes from exploiting empathy. People naturally want to avoid causing pain to others, so the target may concede simply to relieve the discomfort of being made to feel guilty. Because the guilt is manufactured rather than earned, the manipulator gains compliance without having to negotiate or justify their request. Over time, repeated guilt-tripping conditions the target to anticipate blame and alter their behavior.
Again, that's a major red flag. Another sign to look out for is the ultimatum, the all or nothing ultimatum. It's either me or nothing at all. It's my way or the highway. Now that may sound a bit cliche, but in the mind of the narcissist, the mind of the manipulator, that is something that they do. That is something that they say. I'll place this up again. I'll listen to another quick clip.
Guilt tripping is a dark psychology trick often used in relationships to make another person feel guilty, usually to gain control or influence their behavior. It works by exploiting the victim's emotions, making them believe they are responsible for a particular situation or outcome. The guilt-inducing person may use emotional appeals, passive-aggressive comments, or exaggerate their own suffering to create a sense of obligation in the victim. This tactic can significantly affect the victim by causing feelings of guilt, self-doubt.
Again, causing feelings of guilt. Here's a key takeaway. Manipulation. Manipulation, according to research and observations and experience, often, not all the times, but often will come disguised as care or concern. Again, manipulation oftentimes will come in a pretty little package, disguised often as care or concerned. Manipulation, again, is just part of the arsenal used by the narcissist, along with the other topics we've discussed: gaslighting and love bombing. Again, those videos are in the video bucket or my archives. They're recent if you'd like to go review those. Health is wealth, and many times people believe or they liken health to the physical, the muscles, the being in shape, lean, strong. But your mental health, your emotional health, in my opinion, this is just my opinion, they should go tandem with your physical health. What good is it to look good on the outside when on the inside you're unhealthy? You're not strong. You may put on the strong face, again, to please others, to make others happy, again, to put other people's feelings before yours, so you don't feel guilty, you don't feel selfish, you aren't accused of being selfish, and you won't feel that emptiness, that horrible feeling in the pit of your stomach. As I mentioned before in the last video of love bombing, when and if something feels too good to be true, it usually is. And when you lose yourself trying to please others, when you lose yourself trying to please others, that only will lead to further, according to reports, damage, which will be our next topic: triangulation. Again, this is part 1, and part 2, we're going to go over tips and strategies. Again, tips and strategies. For those of you that have experienced this, you might be experiencing this, or you may be the author of some of these. Again, there is help available for everyone. This is not to villainize, this is just to bring awareness. Some of these things that I speak upon, I've experienced them. And at the age of 57, I'll just say 58 because I'm closer to 58 than 57. It's taken me years to be honest with myself about what I have felt, what I've kept deep in my soul and in my spirit, putting on that strong face for others and smiling because I thought that's the right thing to do. And inside, each day, each night, pain from years ago would keep me up late at night. Many say, and this is true, some things you can get back. Absolutely. There are some things in life you can get back. I believe in being made whole. But time is one thing I have yet to master. And I don't know anyone, to be quite honest. It might be a few out there. Nothing ceases to amaze me in these days and times, but I don't know of anyone who has mastered having time returned to them. Please don't be like me and others and waste precious days, minutes, sometimes years being the victim of the narcissist, of the manipulator. Again, safety is always first. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode. And remember, this video series is for educational purposes only and not a substitute for professional advice, for I am not a member of the medical profession. Thank you for tuning in to Guilt Tripping. Again, please remember to drop a like, consider subscribing, and commenting. In this series, The Psychology of Manipulation, we've gone over manipulation, gaslighting, love bombing, and guilt trip. Next, we will be going over triangulation. I hope to see you then. Until next video, please be safe, be well, and be healthier. Mind, body, soul, and spirit. I'm your hostess, Lise. Bye-bye for now.
Guilt tripping is a dark psychology trick often used in relationships to make another person feel guilty, usually to gain control or influence their behavior. It works by exploiting the victim's emotions, making them believe they are responsible for a particular situation or outcome. The guilt-inducing person may use emotional appeals, passive-aggressive comments, or exaggerate their own suffering to create a sense of obligation in the victim. This tactic can significantly affect the victim by causing feelings of guilt, self-doubt,